So last week, Peter gave us examples, and he's talking about how Jesus is not late. He gave us examples of God timing, and he was pointing to water and fire as forces of creation and forces of destruction, and it's all on God's time, how that happens. We talked about how catastrophe in creation, catastrophe is really just rapid, crazy change that we didn't ask for. No matter how you cut that up. Catastrophe and creation, sometimes very much related. You have to catastrophize the old. You got to get rid of something before something new can happen. And it's by God's word that things are created and recreated through radical change. And then he pointed out that Jesus is patient. He's not late. He's patient, not late. So we're going to pick it up today. 1 Peter chapter 3, we're going to pick it up in verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything in it will be laid bare. There's some tidings of comfort and joy this morning, huh? But I think there is encouragement here. This is going to be interesting as we get into the Greek words. We're going to see things that I didn't expect to see when I was going through this. I hadn't seen before. It's going to be fun. He says, the day of the Lord will come like a thief. Now, I don't know if you've ever had anybody steal anything from you, but usually they don't come up and go, hi, I'm Dominic. I'm going to be your thief today. What's going to happen is I'm going to wait for you to get into Walmart, and I'm going to put a screwdriver in your door lock. And, I'm going to try and open your door that way. If that doesn't work, I'm going to break your window out. I'm going to ransack your car and take anything valuable. Take your garage door opener, so you have to get a new one and reprogram that. I'm going to take all your loose change and anything valuable I find. So thank you. I'll be your thief today. Let me know if you have any questions. It doesn't work like that. They always come when you don't expect it. That actually happened a whole lot of once. Our old Subaru, she comes out and somebody punched the screwdriver into the door locks, and we don't have anything. We Poe. I think they got away with 35 cents and change and a garage door opener, So we had to do that. So that actually cost us some money. The door locks, I don't think we even worried about it. It was an old car. It's just leave it unlocked. If you want to come in, don't break anything. Just come in and look around. Put a welcome mat in front of it when we leave it, So the day of the Lord will come like a thief. So it's not like it's going to come along and go, okay, there's certain things we're going to look for, but it's not like, okay, here's your date on the calendar. We're going to come by and, we're going to do all this stuff. But it's like a thief, not in a bad way, but like a thief who comes in. Like if you come home, it's like, oh man, somebody jimmied the sliding glass door. Oh, you go in the house, it's like, who put this hot tub in here? Oh look, they fixed the dishwasher. Wow, it's like a thief in the night that comes and fixes things and makes things right. That's what we can look forward to. And then, he says, the heavens will pass away with some kind of great noisy sound. Pass away in the Greek has a sense, when people pass away, that's a very negative thing where we live, isn't it? It's not something we look forward to, not something we anticipate. It's a sad thing. But there's another dimension of that. And in Greek, it has a sense of that passing away and perishing, but there's another meaning that means to come near and to arrive, which puts kind of a positive light on that. If you're standing on a railroad track and you see a train coming, hear that train a-coming, rolling around the bend, it comes by, and then it's there, and it passes by, and it goes. The train has actually kind of passed away from where you're at. But in passing away, it's moving on, it's getting closer to where it's intending to be. It's getting closer to its destination. So the heavens will pass away. Heavens we're standing there, it's like, whoa, big old noise, and things are going to go by, and it's like it's moving on toward the destination, toward what it's supposed to be. And, that passing away thing is going to involve a certain level of catastrophe. And like I said last week, we talked about catastrophe as part of a creative process. The hotels in Vegas, we're going to build a new hotel. And they don't just build on top of the one that's already there. They come in and they put explosive charges, and everybody gathers around to witness the destruction. The thing collapses, and there's a big cloud of dust. The dust settles, they cart off the debris, and then they build the new hotel. There's that catastrophic thing that happens before the new thing can come. Looking outside, the leaves are changing. They're well on their way out, and we could mourn the passing away of the leaves. I didn't used to like fall so much. Now, as I'm getting older, I love it. I love the way it smells. I love the colors. I just love everything about it. And the shortening days and the cooler temperatures and everything winding down to that bottoming out in December where the whole creation takes a breath and starts over. We could mourn the loss of the leaves, but we know that these leaves have to go. They turn, they fall off, they decompose on the ground, return nutrients to the soil, and then that's part of the process that brings new life. In the spring, there's going to be new leaf buds and green leaves and blossoms, and there's new life coming. So we don't mourn the loss of those. We know there's new coming through that. So as the heavens pass away, Peter says this will happen with a sound that will grab everyone's attention. I'm not going to pretend I know what that's going to be like, that I know what that is, but he tells us there's going to be some kind of big noise that's going to grab everyone's attention. Those noises that are unexpected. We've got a little suction cup razor blade holder in a shower at home, where I keep my razor when I shave my legs. And every so often that thing will just let go randomly and fall. And when you're home alone, it's like, what's that? It's like, oh yeah, that thing. Why do we even have that? It's like scares the wee out of us from time to time. These noises that don't belong, that aren't normal, and then it's like, oh yeah, get your attention. So the elements will be destroyed, it says. Oh, that's a happy thought, isn't it? It is kind of. Just watch this now. I feel like Charles Stanley. Now watch this. Watch this. Destroyed or dissolved is the Greek word gluo, which we have seen before. I'm going to tell you where. That's the same word that Jesus used. Remember when Lazarus came shimmying out the tomb? Right? Because if somebody's bound up with grave clothes, they don't just walk out. He's like, shimmying out. He's all tied up and comes out. And Jesus said, unbind him. Take those off so that he can be freed. The same word, luo, unbind, to unbind him. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
It means to untie, to take apart. It's used in the context of divorce, like a dissolution of marriage. It's used in the context of dissolving a partnership. You're just undoing that tie. You're taking that apart, freeing up the two parts. It also means to unbind in a sense of setting free, like Lazarus. It's like, what are you guys doing? Can't you? He's trying to walk. He can't live the rest of his life in these grave clothes. Unbind him and set him free. Let him go free. Let him walk. Let him go about the business of living. Now, I'm sure that somebody worked really hard at binding Lazarus up with the grave clothes, wrapping him up nice and tight. Somebody's probably really, really proud of the work they did. And Jesus is like, take that off. And so in a way you're destroying the handiwork that somebody worked really hard on, but then at the same time, you're releasing him from the bindings of death so he can go on living again. So that's the context. I thought it was interesting that they use that same word for dissolving, dissolving the heavens and the elements and unbinding and letting go. Then he says the earth and what is done there will be laid bare. Other translations will say burned up. I don't know which one you have. Laid bare or burned up is the Greek word herisko. And that means to find something after searching, to discover something for yourself. You're looking for it and it's like, aha, there it is, and it might be hiding under something. Like up where we have church in the summertime, where we did this last summer, Sugar Pine Ridge. I don't know if you remember, but there was a time when you couldn't see that view. It was overgrown. There were, trees and underbrush, and it had grown up pretty good. You couldn't see the view. And I remember that view you could see it really good when I was a kid. Jenny bought the place, came in, did some thinning, which is a good thing because now there's a fire break, there for Sugar Pine, and it's also opened up that view. It was like, wow, look, that was out there the whole time, and we couldn't even see it, from the highway. To thin it out so you can see, so you can discover and find it for yourself. Another example, there's a reason you put gloves on when you get firewood from the wood pile, isn't there? Anybody, done that where you're like, if you don't, you feel a little critter crawling up your, little spider. Ooh, there's a reason you do that. You think your wood pile, you cover it up, late in the summer, and you think it's just sitting there quietly. It's not. It's a hotbed of life. There are things going on in there that you don't see. And when you go in, you put your gloves on, and you take a piece of wood off, and sometimes you're going to find scorpions and spiders and stink bugs, and lizards get in there and they shed their skin. You find all kinds of interesting things, dead rodents sometimes. And you think it's just sitting there quietly, just teeming with life. There's all this stuff going on. And once you uncover it, you see what all the creepy crawlies have been up to. It's like, ooh, glad I got my gloves on. You see what they've been up to in there. The obstructions of visibility are removed. You can see what the creepy crawlies have been up to. And the same thing's going to happen with this world, is that someday the covering's going to be taken off, and you're going to see what all the creepy crawly people have been up to, all the bad motives, all the good motives. Everything's going to be laid bare, right there for us to see, right there to discover. He goes on in verse 11, since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be? You ought to live holy and godly lives as you look forward to the day of God and speed its coming. That day will bring about the destruction of the heavens by fire, and the elements will melt in the heat. But in keeping with his promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. And again, this sounds kind of scary, huh? The last part sounds really good. The first part, all this melting and destruction, kind of scary. It's like, what kind of people ought you to be? It sounds kind of intimidating at first, doesn't it? It sounds like a threat. Like we need to be fearfully submissive. And I don't think that's what he's trying to get at here. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Some people, the way they are, the way they live, the way they run from God, then maybe they should be a little fearful. I don't know. But if you're fearful, take care of it. Don't be fearful. God does not want us to be fearful in his presence. He wants us to be Abba Father. He's given us not a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. I think this section is more of an encouragement. So he says, therefore, since everything will be destroyed, dissolved, some translations, that's that Greek word luo again. Since everything will be unbound, since everything will be set free, everything will be taken apart, what kinds of people should they and we be? Since everything will be unraveled, but also unbound, how should we live? At my job, Wednesday's going to be my last day. At my job, I'm a short timer. You ever been a short timer? That's an interesting position, isn't it? And you can be a good short timer, and you can be a bad short timer. I walked into work last Wednesday, walked into the marketing office. All right, short timer walking. I just announced my presence. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go to lunch. And I think then I'm going to go have a few beers. I'm going to fall asleep in a dark part of the casino somewhere. And when I wake up, I think it's going to be time for me to take a break. And we all laughed because we know that's not me and that's not how it's going to work, right? Actually, it's been really fun. I did my last two shows in the showroom last night and the night before, and I've just been really enjoying it. I've been really accommodating and patient and pleasant with the bands. I'm just enjoying them and they're enjoying me, and I'm just not really partaking of the drama anymore. That's the kind of short timer I am, and I think that's how we should be with this short timer thing as well. You get people that say, oh, look out there. It's like, I'm just going to throw this litter on the ground. It's all going to burn anyway, right? Pour my oil into the drain. I don't care. It's all going to burn. It's all going to burn anyway. And I don't think that's how we're supposed to do it. There's good short timers and not so good short timers. And I think we're called to stewardship. And we should live as part of our stewardship as short timers here on this earth, because we don't know how short the time is. Right? The timing is all up to Jesus. It's all up to him. He's setting the schedule, not us. And, it's been a while, and we should come in and do the right thing. We should live holy and godly lives, Peter says. And that means set apart and in line with the very character of God, which we know by studying that whole Gospel to John thing over 2 years. We saw what Jesus is like and how we're supposed to pattern our lives. So to be set apart, to live godly. Hastening the day, Peter says, and this is another word we've seen before. It's the same root as spoude. Remember spoude?
Yeah, spoude.
Spoude the day, right? Uh-huh. Spoude, that's, and for those who are with us, that's when The difference between waking up to go fishing and waking up to go to work. Sometimes you hit the snooze alarm 5 times. I don't want to get up, I don't want to get up, I don't want to go do that. Fishing, you don't even need an alarm. Boink! You know, got the gear already, I'm ready to go. That's the way we're supposed to live. Hastening the day. So we're supposed to look forward to that. It's not something that we're going to dread, that we're going to be afraid of. We're hastening that. We look forward to it. See, it's not supposed to be a source of fear. This is an encouragement. Not of fear, but of anticipation. And in keeping with his promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. He promises it, we expect it. And there, righteousness will settle in to live, to take up residence. I like that. Righteousness, not with a self in front of it. That self and the dash and the righteousness, that's not righteousness. Self-righteousness is not righteousness at all. Righteousness is where perfect light shines, where things are right, where things are as they should be, where things are restored. Righteousness will come and will take up residence. O come, O come, O come again, Emmanuel, God with us. So we're into the Advent season as we put a bow on this. How are we doing here? Oh, good. Doing all right. Might be on time for the first time ever, especially if you've got other business to attend to here. Advent is a looking forward to the celebration of the Nativity. And at the same time, the expected second coming of Jesus. Having that in view as well. The word nativity dates back to sometime before 1150. I always thought it was a weird thing, nativity. What is that? When you were a little kid and you had all these like weird little words around Christmas, like who's Noel? Why do we have his name up all over our house? These questions you have as a child. Nativity was one of those. It comes from the Latin natives, which means it's the feast of the birth of Jesus. And it's built around that word native. When we have a native species, it means it belongs. It means it's indigenous. It belongs there. An invasive species can be a bad thing. A native species, yep, that's been here. It's here naturally and it's supposed to be here. It likes to be here. Jesus chose to be native with humanity. I like that. Nativity. And then he chose to make humanity native to heaven. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful thing? And then Advent goes back. I'm not big on doing the church calendar thing, obviously. We just go through the Bible. But Advent goes back to about 480. That's a long time ago. People have been celebrating this Advent thing. And I like that. I like looking forward to the Nativity, keeping that celebration in view with there's going to be another coming back. Come again, Emmanuel. So as we finish up today, so we live in the dynamic tension between Advent and the second coming of Christ. We're kind of in the dynamic tension. And as we live there, be good short timers, right? It's like, I'm not doing a thing. It's all going to burn. I'm not going to talk to that person. That person's going to burn. I don't want that person to burn. I don't want them there with me, And that's the wrong way to be holy and godly, to be set apart, to be consistent with the character of Jesus. Be good short timers. Look forward to the new. Hasten it. Spoudet the day. Spoudet that future. Sounds kind of scary when you read it, but then the good stuff, there's going to be good stuff that comes out of that. We look forward to that. And trust in the timing of Jesus, because he's running right on time.